Om Sadashivasamaramabham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Okay, you guys want any questions, any clarifications on the whole of the Gita? Anything not clear? Or you need some further clarification on some topic? Otherwise, I'll do a summing up. Yeah. Okay. Because last time we had symbolically, yeah?
So there is a sloka called, you see karma and akarma and reverse choice.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
particular thing, sloka, some explanation.
Okay. Karmani akarmaya pashyet, akarmani karmayaha. Sa buddhiman manisheshu. That is the statement. Okay. The Krishna karma krit. The question is, who is the doer? I am the one who is doing actions. Therefore, karma, karma phala, there is no escape. In fact, if you are the doer, there is really speaking no escape for you. Right? Karma, karma phala will go on. The good, the bad, the ugly, we will have to keep facing. And any lifetime, we exhaust some karmas, we create new karmas. Some of it gets over here, some of it carried forward. I mean, this goes on, and this has been going on up to now. So now Krishna examines the question, who exactly is the karta? Because I consciousness cannot do anything. Limitlessness cannot act. The body by itself cannot act. You take consciousness out of the picture, body is inert. So in between, there seems to be an entity that says, I do. Shankara puts it very nicely in Atma Bodha, verse 25. Atmana Sachidamsascha, the Sachid that makes up the Atma. Buddhehe vritti riti dvayam, and the thoughts that make up the Buddhi. Samyoga cha avivekena, coming together because of aviveka, ignorance. Janami iti pravartate. I get the idea that I am the doer, the knower. Knower first, then doer. Therefore, the one who takes himself as karta bhokta is a mistaken notion. It's a bit difficult to swallow that my whole karma phala, all that I am facing in life, what I have inherited in terms of my genes and in terms of luck, fate, etc., all that is only by this apparent entity. Therefore, he says, in the doer, the one who takes himself as a doer, karmani, the one who is involved in action, etc. Akarmaha pashyet. See that you are not really the doer. Instead of identifying with the body, mind, etc., shift your attention and recognize that I am that pure consciousness. Actions will happen. You will not stop doing actions because of that. Actions are bound to happen. but to see that as consciousness I am not the doer. Am I the doer? Yes, I am the doer. I am doing. Are you the doer? No, I am not, because I am consciousness. It's like asking a pot, are you 3-liter pot space? Yes. Really, you are limited to 3 liters? No. I am the limitless space. So with respect to the body of the pot, it is 3 liters. With respect to itself is limitlessness. All pervading space. Same way, with respect to this body and mind, I am apparently the karta. With respect to myself, aham akarta. I am free from all karmas. Consciousness is not tied up to a karma. What is tied up is your idea of yourself, your notion of yourself. I am this much only is a notion. A self-judgment on the basis of the body, of the mind, and whatever the mind and body is associated with. The roles you play, etc., the talents that you have, the skills that you have. On the basis of all that, there is a self-judgment. I. So, your thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories, which make up the idea of I. I'll have to go one step back. Your ignorance about yourself, the unconscious that is there, thoughts manifest, feelings, actions, karma, karma phala. All this is held together by the notional I. I am, by just that idea. A thought by itself is never an issue. You're walking on the road, out for a morning walk. Some stray thought enters your mind and goes out. I mean, isn't it very often you're going traveling somewhere by car, you see so many things, so many stray thoughts come and go. It is the one that we hold on and bring it as me. Adds to your identity. That you are having layers and layers of this identity. Karta, bhokta, we call it. That is the one that is a doer. Just a notion, remember. It all starts with a notion. The consciousness that I am manifests in this mind. In mind there are certain backgrounds, samskaras, thoughts, feelings, knowledge, etc. Me. Because you cannot help identifying. Don't forget my old story. Shah Rukh Khan playing the role on the stage. Amnesia. You can't help identifying. Because the sense of I is very clear. I am. And I don't know what I am. Now that's a very, very difficult position to hold. If I show you something and say, you know what is this? No. And I put it, forget it. It sort of irritates you a bit. Don't worry. This is a cover for a speaker that I have attached for recording. Okay. That will keep bugging you. But it is limited. It bugs, but it is limited. Imagine not knowing, no judgment about what I am. Who are you? Keep an open mind to who you are. Possible? Open mind to this is difficult. So, open mind to who you are. Everything that you are going to think, feel, do is based on who you are. Therefore, that self-identity becomes important. That's why, supposing something happens in your life, an event, an experience, the challenges Who am I? Very disturbing place, no, to sit and to be. If who you are is challenged. That's why people who go through a near-death experience, for example, that challenges who you are. Very disturbing in the beginning. Until you sort of resolve it and say, this much is me. Therefore, since you cannot help concluding, you will conclude. And you will conclude based on what you are associated with. You are associated with this body and mind, therefore I must be this much only. There is no way you cannot conclude. And you will conclude. That's a self-judgment. First self-judgment ever. I am this much only. So, once you have said you are a finite entity, then your true nature is nothing but Ananda. The moment I say I am finite, Ananda goes away. Then I have to become Ananda. I have to get Ananda. Therefore, desires. Therefore, action. Karta Bhokta. What are you really speaking? Limitless consciousness, akarta, abhokta. Not a karta, not an enjoyer, just pure Ananda. Therefore, he says, while living this life, karmani, karmani now becomes living this life. Akarma pashyet. See yourself as that consciousness which is limitless. Now, the second part is just to knock off some wrong conclusion that may come up. Swamiji, it's easy to be akarta, na? Just sit down doing nothing. Either you have to be extremely lazy or last lifetime you are a python or something probably. Extremely lazy. You can sit in one place for hours on end. Or you have some training. They call this samadhi practice. You try. I can sit in one. Therefore, it looks like I am akarma. No, he says, akarmani karmaya pashyet. In this type of experiential akarma, see that you are the karta is still there. That person who is sitting down like that, thinking this action is a problem, I have to give up all actions and sit down. In that guy, kartrutvam is still there. He is sitting down all right. But the karta bhokta is still there. Karta bhokta is not gone. Even if he goes into samadhi, with self-ignorance he went into samadhi experience, he will come out what? Self-ignorant. That experience may help him question some judgments. That much it will help. Question some judgments. Question his identities. That much it will help. Not more than that. Therefore, akarmani, in this type of experiential akarma, sitting down, simply sitting akarma. Karmaya pashyet. Therefore, who sees this clearly, this akarma is not experiential. My freedom from action is not an experience. My freedom of action is my sarupa, my true nature. Even in the thickest of all activities, really speaking, I, the consciousness, doth nothing. Navadware pure dehi sukham maste. In this 9-gated city called body, sukham maste, he is sitting relaxed. Naiva kuruvanna karyan. Not doing anything, nor causing anything to be done. That is the nature of yourself. Therefore, karma is not the problem. But all my identities come from karma, correct? That is why we bring in, instead of making it your identity, keep it as a role. This is important. Keep it as a role, not as an identity. Don't shift from role to identity. People do. I mean, because you have nothing else, so naturally you will have to do. Let it be a role. You play many roles. I wear many hats in life. One of this hat, this hat. Doctor hat, officer hat, employee hat, father hat, mother hat. Lot of hats I wear. Big deal. I keep changing hats. I keep changing roles. Today role of a hero, tomorrow role of a villain, the day after a character role. But what are you? I am the person who fills up the role, Baba. I am the person who fills up the role. I am none of these roles. But you are so identified with that role when you are playing it. Yeah. But just because I was identified with the role doesn't mean now I have to file for annulment in the court because on the role I got married. Therefore, in that sense, and this can happen. Now, people will try, okay, I will not do this, I will not do that, I will do only the minimum necessary. None of that will work. This has to work on the basis of pure cognition. You have to see yourself as that limitless consciousness. It's a question of directly recognizing it. Now don't tell me, how do I know I recognize? How do you know that this is a pen? How do you know you are seeing the pen? Is knowledge swata siddham. Knowledge validates itself. Knowledge doesn't have to be validated further by something else. Knowledge does not require a further validation by something else, by a logic or something like that. Direct perception, seen. So similarly, you see the self directly. Aham Sachidananda Swarupa. Fine, that's clear. Correct. Yeah. Then after that what? After that, you're free. Do whatever you want. Yeah. Like Krishna said to Arjuna, Yatha achasi tata kuru. Yeah. If that time Arjuna had said, yes, Krishna, you are right. All this is true. All this is mithya. It doesn't really matter whether I do or I don't do. World is not going to change. Some temporary things will happen. Temporary things will happen. Yeah. So, क्या करने का ऐसे? बोध हो गया. Many a battle have I fought. Time to hang up my boots. चलो, मैं ऋषिकेश जाता हूँ अभी. If he had said it at that time, Krishna would not have stopped him. If he had said it before knowledge is that you are not ready for it, you will fight with every tree there, he would have said. Now that you are saying Nashto Moha Smritar Labdha, you can do what you want. Not a problem. But there is a beauty there. He recognizes the importance of the role he is playing. The role is important. It doesn't touch me, it's just a role. Previously, look at it. How can I fight against Bhishma, Drona, etc.? They are worthy of my puja. And now what happens? Yeah, they are worthy of my puja, all right. But right now, the battle awaits, so let us fight. Enough garlands I have sent them, now I will send a garland of arrows. What has to be done has to be done, big deal. Doesn't matter either way. You're free. You're free. Win or lose, what does it matter? What is winning, what is losing? Both are imposters anyway. Yeah. You think winning the battle was a big thing for them? For Arjuna? No way. He knew. After that we had to rebuild the whole society. Yaar, headache hai. The whole society we had to rebuild. All the people who have been widowed, orphan children, we have to see that they grow up as dharmic individuals. Big job. You all know what it takes to parent a couple of kids. Yeah, so many kids have been orphaned. Normally when a kid loses his parents, etc., there is somebody else, some uncle, some this thing. Here, all the uncles also are gone. And many of them are all Kshatriya kids. They have got that spirit to fight. If that is not channelized properly, they'll all go haywire. Big job awaiting. Karna hai. Theek hai. We'll do it. This is the end of a yuga. And end of a yuga is always highly disturbing events will happen. 36 years after that, with Krishna's death, Kali Yuga started. So they were the people conducting the transition. Same thing will happen at the end of Kali Yuga. The transition to Satya, highly traumatic. You think this what's happening now is traumatic? Now is nothing. You think World War III is traumatic? It will be nothing compared to what happens at the end of Kali Yuga. Take it from me. Yeah. So, no problems. Akarmaya pashyet. Yeah, I am that consciousness. In me all this is happening. All this is an apparent manifestation. My God, what a storm! What storm? Some small little thing in me. In me the water which makes up the whole ocean. Some area where there is something small happening. New York is flooded out. Big deal. One small corner. Yeah. I am that silent ocean, free from all that. The water that makes up the whole ocean. With that is called Jivan Mukta Avastha. Yeah. So, the whole of Vedanta is summed up in that one verse. Karmaniya karmaya pashyet. Yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Not at all. So, this is the depth of understanding necessary. Okay. Yeah. So, various ways in the Gita you will find Krishna has presented this knowledge from various verses, various standpoints, taken any one thing and started it off to end in consciousness, and how to relate in the world with that. All this has gone on. That's what the beauty of the Gita is. Every time you study the Gita, the nuances will be more. To say that every time you study the Gita, you get a new meaning or a solution from your problems is a very, very limited way of looking at it, okay? Every time, whenever I am faced with a problem, I look into the Gita and I get a solution. You know, Suresh, Sunita and all, we are friends with this couple, okay? Their son had a book. You ask a question and you open that book, okay? It's a modern creation. You ask, open. You will get some statement there which relates to your problem. I think I can do that with any book. Newspaper. Okay? Newspaper. Okay? What should we be doing to handle the world's problems? We must look at the future and create history, not rake up history. A comment here, said by an idiot called Raut from Shiv Sena. But correct, na? Hari? That's exactly what I should be doing for the problems. Can you see that? Any of you want to try? Ask a question, I'll open a page. Back to this thing. I'll tell you, this will work. Yeah. What is the problem of relationships in the world today? Okay. We should not be just talking or saying anything. Statement here. Barabar hai. You say any nonsense that come into your mind, you'll get into a problem. Can you see that? Newspaper, I'm doing this experiment. Not planned. This is, I just picked up the newspaper just now. I didn't even know what questions would come up. I'm just picking up a newspaper. Because I didn't have all the books that I have here are all books connected with the Gita, the Upanishad, Tarka, etc. So I didn't want to pick up those books. I wanted to pick up a simple book. No simple book around, no story book around. Therefore, chalo, pick up the newspaper. Because what is there in your head now, you will still look for something there that's connected. That is not what the Gita is talking about. The Gita has its own solution to give to life issues. And that is about the whole existential issue. Yeah. Not this or that. The whole issue of your problem as a fundamental human being, that is being solved. Therefore, it is not a solution to life problems in that sense of the word. It is a solution to the fundamental issue. Other things we can solve ourselves. No? How to raise funds, how to do this, how to do that. Some are good at it, some are not so good at it. We'll muddle along and manage. So you will win some, you will lose some. That's life. Certain things will work out well, certain things will not work out well. Okay, it's okay, fine. So if you have sent a certain mark, this much should happen. If you go above that, you have done very well. If you are below that, you are not done well enough. It's nice, na? So, that is life. So, those problems you and I can handle ourselves. We don't need the Gita for that. Gita gives you certain basic attitudes, a sense of acceptance, a sense of proactivity, etc. The other day I saw a very interesting video. A friend of mine sent it to me. A student who is now based in Canada has sent it to me. It's about how they cultivate acceptance and surrender and sense of surrender, which is the heart of Karma Yoga anyway, in martial arts. Very nice. So they have a 1 week, 2 week training program, like our camp. And you do whatever the teacher does. Teacher says, today we are going for a trek. Okay. You just say, yes, acceptance. Today's trek. And you go. There is a waterfall. Good place. Let us sit under the waterfall. It's cold, breathing, but everyone sits. Well, acceptance. Then you go with wet clothes. Okay. What a nice place here. Cool breeze, wet clothes, cool breeze. Let us sit and meditate. You're shivering. What meditation? Okay. Let's go up this mountain. So, like this, various things. Whatever the teacher does, you do. Why? Sense of acceptance comes in so easily. No? Practical training. So maybe once the ashram comes up, we can do some things like that. Okay. This is not to demotivate you all from wanting the ashram to come through. This is to motivate you all so you can have it one level better. Okay. So it's easy. Those who say, I can't cultivate acceptance, okay, no problems. Ishwararpanam Prasad Buddhi is coming with difficulty. We will help you with that also. If you are getting it, then you don't need this, of course. If you already have Ishwararpanam Prasad Buddhi, why do you need this? You don't need it. And most of my people have it, so not an issue. Otherwise, I would have done this in some camp or the other. Don't worry, I am not planning it in Rishikesh. It's too cold to get into you all into a waterfall or something. Okay, there are quite a few close by, but it's too cold. Okay. So that is karmani akarma. Any other questions that are there?
Swamiji, I have a question.
Shoot.
Swamiji, there is this shloka, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Bhavati Bhavati.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
is chapter 4.
Yeah. That I will be born again. Sambhavami yuge yuge. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Swamiji, so whenever I look at it, I look at it from bhakti point of view. I feel that I am praying for Lord to come back whenever there is a problem. I am interpreting it that way. But is that the correct interpretation
No.
from Vedanta?
See, you can always pray to the Lord if there is a problem. And that prayer will help you connect with Ishvara, and therefore you will get a solution. Your mind will throw up a solution because you are connecting with Ishvara. Remember this. Any prayer meditation, you are connecting up with the total mind. In fact, you are already there because your mind is a part of the total mind. Now, the connect is there already. You are just helping to focus on that, so you will get solutions. You will get things. It will come. But here, he is talking from the standpoint of Ishvara and giving a promise that whenever the problems are too big for humans to handle, he will be there. Right now, what are the problems that we are facing? Certain economic issues, certain political issues, certain terrorist issues. The biggest problem that is there in the world is what? Terrorist issues. Some people are crying Islamophobia because of that, and some people are actively working on Hindu phobia. If you look at some of the things that have come out of Harvard and everything, there is Hindu phobia along. Let us not whitewash it, it is there. Not to make a big reaction about it, a recognition, is a high problem. These are all the problems in the world today. No? Some war is going on somewhere or the other. Some communist country is an issue in terms of Korea, etc., China, etc. for us. And fundamentalist pan-Islamic terrorism is another problem that we have to face. Itna hi hai. A broad perspective, this is all that. These are things we can handle. It requires some political will, that's all. If there is political will, these things can be handled, no big deal. Yeah. I mean, these are not insurmountable problems for a human being. A terrorist is another human being, yeah, big deal. What is there to be scared about him? What he can do, I can do. Probably better. Oh, but he is so well trained. All our soldiers are well trained. So what's the big deal about? Our cops may not be able to handle a terrorist. Yeah, but the soldiers can. No big deal. I mean, these are problems that we can handle. No big deal. Some political will is necessary. Yeah. And Supreme Court has opened a can of worms by allowing the terrorists who killed Rajiv Gandhi to set free.
Walk free.
Now, everybody who is on a life sentence will cite that as a precedent and want to get free. I also served 30 years. I only killed one person, my wife. He killed.
That's what I appeal.
Yeah. He killed 16 people and you are setting him free. Why not set me free?
Yes.
So, like that, so many people will now appeal. It's a can of worms you opened up. But these are all self-created human issues. Human beings can solve it. It is not insurmountable problems. Inflation, not an insurmountable problem. All this we can take care of. If you want terrorists, get a terrorist like the Rakshasas, then you will see what it is. Like Ravana coming around. Yeah. Having a post in India. Ravana sitting in Sri Lanka had an outpost in India, in the Dandakaranya forest, run by Khara and Dushasana. Oh, there are about 100 terrorists in Kashmir. Yeah, there are. These people had 30,000 warriors. Khara and Dushasana had more than 40,000 warriors there. Now, that is an issue. Ravana can't be handled by an ordinary human being. Indra can't be handled. Indrajit can't be handled. Kumbhakarna, forget it. You're talking about an ordinary human being handling Kumbhakarna. Are you gone mad? Can't be handled. Then Rama had to come. Ishvara had to take an avatara for that. Then people wonder, what is the avatara for Krishna? Are all human beings only, no Rakshasa. Yeah, the shift of a yuga had to happen. A yuga had to be shifted. Yeah. Yuga had to be shifted. So that's a different thing. Yeah. My youngest student is there now. Okay. Yeah. He's barely a year old. So these are the things that verse is meant for that. Otherwise, what happens will, and the Bhagavatam that is dealing with avatars talk about 10 avatars. Let us restrict it to 10. Otherwise, everyone will have to put up as an avatara, because Indians have a problem of idolizing people. This problem has come up in the last 200, 300 years only. You idolize everyone. Why? Then you can worship them and you don't have to do anything. Kanchi Periva, Sakshat Devamapa, he is like Lord himself. Then you will worship him, you don't have to do anything. What he is teaching, etc., forget it. He is God, no. Main kya karu? I'll go and seek his blessings. Won't learn. Won't do. You will expect somebody else to solve your problem. That is, therefore only 10 avatars, finish. Let it be like that. Yeah. Keep it at that 10. No more.
And so, Amiji, all these avatars are they are like exemplaries. They are setting up examples in front of society how to deal with life.
No, a little bit more than that. Not just exemplary human beings. There was something extraordinary about them also. Can you imagine the Rakshasas which are difficult for a warrior to handle one-on-one? One-on-one. Rama as a single person wiped out the whole Khara and Dushasana army. One man. It took him one morning to do it. Come on. That is not an ordinary human being warrior. Yeah. Describing it, Valmiki says, it seemed there were 1,000 Ramas, because the arrows were coming from all directions. The Rakshasas didn't know from where the arrows were coming. They only could see the shower of arrows. They couldn't see the source of the arrows. There is something extraordinary. So an avatara is always an extraordinary being. He is Ishvara himself manifest in a human form. So because of that, you have to keep it like that. Therefore, everything that an avatara did human beings may not be able to follow it. Parashurama came at a time when the warrior thinking had gone haywire. The Kshatriya thinking had gone haywire in the society. This is even before Rama, okay? Too much of a feudal thinking is a problem. Warrior thinking, if it goes haywire, you will not build up a society. Therefore, 21 generations he wiped out. And created a new set of Kshatriyas. who are more balanced in life. Otherwise, the Kshatriya would become the next generation Rakshasas. So, like this, you needed exemplary figures, Yeah, exemplary figures. So, always an avatara is like that, exemplary. Whether right from the beginning, Matsya, Kurma, Matsya, etc. onwards, if you take all of them, there is something exemplary about them. Therefore, everything that Parashurama did, we can't do. Now, in Rama's case, you can say, because he is called as a Adarsha Purusha, how he followed the letter and spirit of the law as much as possible. There are about 4 exemptions in his life when he broke the rule. Even in Rama, okay? 4 times he broke the rule. Yeah. Now you all can go and think which are the 4 times. Okay. To show that if you are a human being, sometimes you have to break the rule. But follow the law and letter and spirit. That was Rama's life. So that became something like an Adarsha Purusha. We all can follow that. Dharma we will follow. Some sort of a thing, we can say. So that's why they say, do what Rama did and live by what Krishna said. Don't try to do what Krishna did. You'll get into a mess. One woman you can't keep happy, you want half a dozen. One you can't keep happy. How many you want then? Krishna had 16,000 wives and all of them were happy with him. That's why he's Ishvara, okay? To keep one person happy is difficult. No, talk about 16,000. Yeah.
Swamiji, could you please tell which 4 times?
Okay. One was the killing of Vali. Second was sending Sita to the forest. Third was what? Something like that. I have to now to remember now. Offhand I can't remember. Okay. Yeah. But there are 3-4 incidences in life like that. Yeah. True. Exceptional situations. They looked wrong. They were not always wrong. They were the right thing in that situation. Okay. Yeah. That is just to show that sometimes the letter of the law has to be compromised. That's to show that. So 3-4 situations were there like that. So now if you are looking at the Gita, okay, remember, this is the flow. It starts with the problem of Arjuna. A war triggers out the fundamental issues, existential issues. Moksha problem. Solution is only by knowledge, 2nd chapter. So the knowledge takes some time because you have to be ready for it. So how do you live? Buddhi yoga or karma yoga given. 2 lifestyles. You live karma yoga enough of times, you can take a lifetime of sannyasa also. Lokesmin divida nishta pura prokta mayanaga. That is also given. Sthita prajna lakshana is given in the 2nd chapter, so just so that the goal is painted so all of us can say, this is what I need to become and this is what I can become. For that 2 lifestyles. 6th chapter also meditation to own up the knowledge. Different forms of worship, etc. Na bhava vidyate sataha also gives you satyam mithya idea. So the knowledge is complete there. Who am I plus satyam mithya. Satyam mithya again brought in the 9th chapter. How is it brought in the 9th chapter? I am not in them, they are in me. They are not in me also. Okay. The whole creation is in me, I am not in the creation. And they are not in me. Why? Because they are all mithya anyway. Only Satyam exists. Bhakti, levels of bhakti in the 12th chapter. One which echoes what he said about the 4 types of devotees. 4 types of devotees in terms of Arthi, Artharthi, Jignasu, Jnani. Jnani is myself, we say, so forget the Jnani. Arthi, one who prays to the Lord only in terms of trouble. When he is in trouble, he thinks of the Lord. Artharthi thinks of the Lord when things are going fine, plus he wants something. When things are in trouble, definitely he will think. But when he wants things also, he will think, oh Lord, give me this, give me that. Jignasu, much better, he wants to know the truth of Ishvara. Jnani, the one who has known the truth. Echoed in the 12th chapter as first one who understands Ishvara as a cosmic order, fine, Bhakta. He is in harmony with everything at once. Then if you can't do that, steps. Karma Yoga Buddhi with only responsibilities, duties, no desires because you have grown out of them. I have desires, etc. Next level, Prasada Buddhi, Ishwararpana Buddhi. So you climb until you are one with Ishvara and your bhakti. So again the knowledge was highlighted in the 13th chapter. Kshetrajnam chapi mam viddik sarva kshetreshu bharata, etc. I am the knower. The knower in every being is nothing but me, the consciousness. Then 20 values given. Amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, acharya upasanam, shaucham, stairyam, atma vinigra. All that. What is known as viveka vairagya, etc. put as 20 values from different. Then the so-called Varnashrama Dharma also I had said in the 4th chapter is echoed later in the 16, 17, 18 chapters. Varnashrama Dharma by Guna and Karma, not by Janma. Guna Karma Vibhagayoho, he makes it very clear. Guna and Karma. And if you notice in the 17th chapter when he talked about it, for those who are Brahmana or Kshatriya by Guna, he doesn't mention any professions. Why? Those values can be brought into any profession. Yes, they may be better in some professions, come on. Like if you have all the Brahmana gunas, you will be good in academics, teaching jobs, etc., etc., etc. Judiciary, etc. Because you are incorruptible. I am not saying judiciary is incorruptible, okay? I am saying if you have all the Brahmana gunas, then you are incorruptible, you will do good there. Kshatriya Dharma also, you will be definitely good in the armed forces, etc. But you can bring those values into any aspect of life. How do you think Japanese made such a quick recovery after World War II? The whole samurai thinking they put into business. We'll dominate the world. We'll be the best. Yeah, that's why in 50 years they had become world beaters. 50 years after World War II, they were world beaters. Because the same samurai thinking went into business and things like that. Industry. Rebuilding society. Because if you are Kshatriya thinking, your socio-political awareness is high. You will do the right things. You will not be reacting and only post on Facebook. You will do something about it. No, Swamiji, I am creating awareness. Everyone is creating awareness. Who is going to do? For Vaishya and Shudra mentalities, he mentioned some professions as a guideline. It will help if you do these things. Because it will be easier for you to practice Ishwararpanam Prasada Buddhi. Therefore, he made that famous statement. Yata pravarti bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam. That from which all this has come, that which pervades all this, that Ishvara. Swakarmanatam abhyaksha, worshipping with your own karma. Whatever karma you are doing, Ishwararpana Buddhi. Siddhim vindati manavaha. You gain the siddhi, the Jnana Yoga Nishta Buddhi you will get. The Buddhi for Jnana Yoga Nishta. The Adhikaritvam for being rooted in this knowledge you will have. Then how do you get that knowledge? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. What are you talking about? क्या करने का है? कुछ नहीं. Seek the knowledge. Jnana Lakshana Sannyasa it is called. Two things he highlights there. One is Jnanam eva tu kaivalyam. Knowledge itself will give you moksha, nothing else. Yeah. And true sannyasa is about seeing yourself as akarta, abhokta. That's only by knowledge, not by wearing the robes. Wearing the robes is wearing a uniform. Either you wear it so that you become like that, or you wear it as a confirmation. Depends on when you take it up. If you take it up after a very few years of study, then it's a goal for you. If you take it up after years of teaching, then it's a confirmation for you. Oh, that is it. That's all the Gita is about. 10-minute summary, okay? In 10 minutes, we have summarized the whole Gita, okay? Yeah. Yeah. One class actually, because that question about karma and akarma gave me the chance to unfold the whole knowledge. Part of it. Therefore, that's all that is there. So, how do you gain this knowledge? One thing is, certain things you need to do in life, okay? One is if there is any fine tuning necessary in your mind, certain areas, we all have some dark areas, some problematic, some shadow areas, some issues. Deal with those. Unresolved grief or anger, whatever it is. Hurt, pain, guilt, whatever. Deal with that. Focus on the knowledge. Make sure, because there can be a great problem. Like how a common man is deluded into thinking, I am a finite being. A student of Vedanta can delude himself into thinking, I am the wise person, I know everything. So be careful about that. Therefore, the Upanishads say, Pavana punyena shravanam kuryat. Punah, again and again listen. Important. Even if you have completed certain course of studies, like for years, in fact, as long as Puja Swamiji Samadhi didn't take place, every year I would go and listen to him, even in public talks. Why? Public talks, I know what he's going to say. He said that, declared a topic, I know what he's going to say. But it is such a great pleasure hearing it again, instead of teaching, being on the other side again, hearing it, a master at work. Aha, maja aaya. Pavana punyena shravanam kuryat. Again, you're seeing the truth. Yeah. It's good to see that, good to do that. So, shravanam, some contemplation to make it a fact of your life. Immersive experiences. Immerse yourself in this knowledge. In a way, the Vedic Wisdom Festival, even though it is like seeing the vastness of the whole knowledge, different facets of the knowledge, different facets of the tradition. Yeah, no problems. And in a camp-like experience, you are immersing yourself fully in the knowledge. Anyone who comes for a camp, their understanding goes up one level. That's why we keep having camps, small 3-4 days. Even the longest one at Rishikesh will be 5-6 days, that's it. Yeah. By the way, you all will get a normal circular about the camp, okay? Things are being more or less finalized, more or less fixed up. Yeah. We just juggling around with the place, this, that, etc. All those things we are juggling around. That involves some juggling, yeah. Because one ashram had promised us so many rooms. They said, but aap confirm nahi kiya. We said, look at the mail, look at the WhatsApp message. We are asking you where to send the advance to give us the details. You have not given us the details. 2-3 times you sent reminders. Oh, theek hai, hum log arrangement kar de. So like that things had to be done. So immersive experience, okay, for gaining this knowledge. So you can study further. Gita is enough if you want it only for years. But we always find that after you study the Gita, when you study the Upanishads, the whole thing becomes deeper and wider. The whole knowledge becomes like that. So I think after the Vedic Wisdom Festival, we will start online Upanishad class. But that will be on a Friday evening, okay? Friday evening, not a Saturday evening. Yeah. I think that will be easier for most people also because Saturday is a little less. Saturday we had kept because we are having it live. that we may still have a new Gita class live. We will see how to work that out in Chembur. But because a lot of the people in the other Gita class dropped out because of the pandemic and everything, they couldn't make it online. So we will see that later. But this class, the other old Gita class, etc., that I had, plus my Tuesday class, all of them together, we will have it an Upanishad class. Okay. So we will go into at least half a dozen Upanishad will go. Definitely Ishakena Kata Mundaka Mandukya we will do. Taitriya. Okay. This much we will do very this thing. Yeah. And then if the class survives that, we can go into Brahma Sutras. Okay. Yeah. 4 sutras will take a year. Minimum. Okay. 1 year. To study 4 sutras only, 4 lines. Yeah. So, good place to stop now. Okay. Next Saturday, do you all have anything to ask? I think it is more or less complete, isn't it? So, we will meet after the Vedic Wisdom Festival. I will put up in the groups. Okay, which Upanishad I will start with, all those details I will put up in all these 3-4 groups. Okay, because next Saturday we are also having the trial run about.
Swamiji?
Yeah? Yeah, Vartika, tell me.
Yeah, just a request. For the Upanishad class, as you were suggesting that once a month we will try to meet, let's try and see once a month.
Yeah, there was this request that at least once a month we meet up somewhere. Yeah, we will do that, but it may, well, if you manage a place in Chembur, we will meet up in Chembur. Otherwise, maybe Matunga. Because Shankaramatam, I think, will be available for us. So, maybe Matunga, we can meet up once a month at least. It's a good idea to meet up once a month. Yeah. Okay. For those who are far away, I know people from Borivali also will like to attend the Upanishad class. I'll keep the online option open. So, that when we are meeting up, it will become hybrid, otherwise, it will become online. Okay. So, good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.